going to take a few minutes and take a look at some of the updates to TeacherMade and how TeacherMade will work for you this year. Because again, we all want to work smarter, not harder. So let's take a look at TeacherMade. First of all, you'll need to log into your account. Make sure that you use your school email address because again, that is how we are currently subscribed to the service. Click sign in. You'll get this initial video perhaps. I'm not sure how long it'll be on there, but you're welcome to go through it. I'm also sending it out in a slideshow, so you'll be able to see some of the changes as well there if you are a returning user to the TeacherMade program. Otherwise, you can click down here to continue to my account. Once inside, you will see the old files that you may have kept from the previous year. At this point in time, let's take a look at if we're going to create a new assignment, how is that going to look? First, you want to click New Worksheet. You can either choose here or here. Either one will be the same for you. You can choose to create your own, start blank, or if you already have a file, you can upload it and work from there. And that's the option we're going to choose today. Notice the types of files that can be taken. You're able to upload those. And in this case, we're going to do a drag and drop. I bring it in, it's a PDF file, so it's essentially reading it similar to an image, and the worksheet gets created. Now from here, I am able to choose what pages I want to incorporate on my particular test. So for example, this one happens to be 13 pages. It also includes an answer document. So for me, I would rather get rid of some of these pages. So I'm going to choose the ones that I want. I can select all or the ones that I want. So I'm going to just pick the first 3 pages for the purposes of our demonstration. These are the ones that are going to be imported. Now let's say I chose to import the wrong file. I made a mistake. I can cancel what I'm doing, or I can pick another file. It's up to me. But for right now, I've done exactly what I needed to do, so I will click Go. Now I see my worksheet. The trick with TeacherMade is that you're taking an essential worksheet and turning it digital for your kids so that you're able to grade faster and easier for yourself, save some time, as well as integrating some effective technology for your kids. But there's going to be some parts on here that you just don't need. So now let's take a look at some of the tools you might be utilizing. Once my test is inside of here, you'll see that the toolbar has changed. It's actually been condensed a little bit. All the same tools are there, even a couple of new ones, but now they're mostly listed all under the Insert button. But first things first, let's name our worksheet. Up here where it says Edit Worksheet, you can change the title. Mine is going to be Periodic Table Test. I can give a descriptor if I want to, and I click Save. Now it's been changed, saved on the cloud, I'm good to go. Now, because this is digital, I want to ensure that my kids are able to know where to put their answers. So I need to clean my worksheet up just a little bit. So this piece right here, when I was printing my copies, this was relevant for me because I needed to put their names on it. However, now that the worksheet's digital, I'm already going to have their names, so I don't need that piece, and I don't want it to confuse my students. So what can I do to hide it? A shortcut method to hiding this particular area would just be go ahead and click on it. Notice this green button comes up. And look, all of my tools that were previously up here in the insert area are listed nice and easily right here for me. So I'm going to choose what I want. I want to hide this area, so I'm going to choose color block. When I select that, notice that an area pops up and I can stretch it out to cover the area that I don't want students to see. Let's say I want to test this out. What does it look like on the student end? To toggle to see the student view, you'll see a little computer screen with an eye that says Preview. Click on it, and boom, this is what my kids will see so far. It's gone. Doesn't even look like it was there for them. Perfect. Next on my list is to be able to have the students answer these multiple choice questions easily and efficiently. I'm going to create a multiple choice text box to be placed inside of the area. Again, I choose the area I want, go ahead and just click on it. I get the green plus button. And this time I want multiple choice. So I'm going to select multiple choice, and you'll notice this little box comes up. I'm going to stretch it out to cover that area. And from there, I want to go ahead and I want to choose the correct answer. Notice I have them in A, B, C, D order. So for this one, the correct answer is going to be A. the number of protons in the nucleus. So I'm going to click that first top little circle. Notice it fills in. Notice my point value changed. Everything's now set, but I want to, let's say, change the point value. Notice up here, I have item points. When I select the green number 1, I can change it to do not score, or I can increase the point value if I want to. Notice my total points change. Notice that I can also edit how many answer options I have. Let's say I had 5 answers to choose from. Again, I can also change the way it looks. So for example, these are straight up and down, which match my particular choice. But let's say I would like to flip that. Then I can do a 2 by 2 if I'd like. Depends on what your worksheet looks like. But for me, the traditional works best. I can also choose to have letters beside it or numbers. For me, in this case, I have A, B, C, D, so I don't want to use numbers. I'd rather use letters. Click, and what I can do is I can bring it over, cover that particular area, come off of it, and look, it's already ready to go. Now, it has been my experience with students that oftentimes they still get a little bit confused because they see this blank line and they think they need to put something there. So I want to eliminate confusion for my kids. So how do I do that? Well, guess what? I'm going to use that color block again. So I'm going to go and I'm going to click on the area around that particular location. I can click and get my green arrow. I can select color block and again, stretch it out to cover my area. Click off of it and it's gone. I want to check and see what this looks like on the student end. I go to the computer with the eye, click, go into preview mode, and this is what the students would see. Look how clean this is for kids. All the lines are gone that I chose to cover. Now my ABC is right here. Notice you can click on it if you want to see what it would look like on the student end. It's good to go. X out, and now I'm ready to proceed. So again, for this one, I would want to continue on with that process. At this point, let's take a look at a question that's structured slightly different. Because this one, all my answers were one under the other, which is pretty easy to modify. This one looks slightly different. So is it harder to do? No, not necessarily. Let's take a look at how we tackle this one. So again, what I want to do is I want to left click on the area I want to add in multiple choice, select it. In this one, I have it preset for 2 by 2, but if it's not, just select 2 by 2. Also, what I want you to see is that when I initially stretch this out and I start covering my area, I start to get extremely disappointed. And why is that? Well, as you can see, it covered my answers. So all I need to do is click transparent. Boom. Now we can see through and I can readjust as I need. There are my answers. Good to go. And I can simply preview, see what it looks like on the student end. Pretty clean, good for them. X out. Now I'm ready to choose my select answer. Now I'm ready to choose my correct answer, which is C. Notice my point value. In this case, I can double it if I want to, or keep it at the original 1 point. It's up to you. And the questions are good to go at this point. However, some of you might say, well, Erin, that's great, but if I'm going to have to change the point value every single time, that's annoying. I understand, I get it. So let's set the default value for the points to help us out and make things much quicker. For this, you want to go to Settings, scroll down to Set Default Score, and change it. Notice it's on 1, change it to 2. So now every question I put in at this point in time will be worth 2 points. Great, let's take a look at another area. Notice my next question is structured just like the one I had previously. Obviously, there will be a different answer, but I don't want to have to keep drawing this text box and setting it the way it needs to be. I want to quickly duplicate it. 2 ways you can do that. First, click on the box, make sure it's selected. You can then move into Edit, and you can click Duplicate, or you can press Control D, either one. When I did it, you can see it made an exact copy. I can slide it down into my area where I had it before for the next question, and then I can simply choose the correct answer so that my next one is ready to go. Again, I can repeat that process through Control D, make sure that the box is highlighted, or selected, and I can keep pushing it down further and further, changing my answers as I go along. Watch my point values changing now, all according to 2 points as I change the default score. Here's my traditional one under the other. Again, I go to that. I can go to Edit, Duplicate, or Control D. Move the text box down. Make sure you get your 4 arrows. That allows you to move it freely. Line it up accordingly. Let go. There it is. Let's see what we have so far on the student end and what they're going to see. Go into preview mode. And again, this is what my kids are going to see. And once you have your initial sheet completed, it's going to be a quick process for you because all you're going to do is assign it to all your classes. The kids will fill it out and it will all auto score for you. Another feature of TeacherMade that I want to show you is how you would do something like matching. So for this area, notice I have a word bank. I simply want to click on any square or line, get my green arrow, get my green plus button. I want to choose, in this case, drop down. When I click drop down, I'm able to adjust my box how I want it. And now I need to set my choices. So I'm going to double click on it. When I double click on it, this is where you have to kind of check a few things. In this case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possibilities. So in this case, I'm going to double click on this box. That's what I choose to do. You can also go into Edit. And in here, you're going to list the choices the students have. I'm going to take a moment and do that for you. Okay, I have all of my choices listed for this particular problem. Now, I didn't have to do this. Notice that on my sheet, I had A, B, C, D, E, F as well. So I could use a shortcut and just go ahead and put in the A, B, C, D, E, F if I wanted to. But in this case, I just wanted to show you what it was like to put in your own answers. You can shuffle the order if you want to, but I don't particularly want to do that. I want to keep it in the order that I already had listed on my choices. All right, so I have all my answer choices in. Just for your reference, just so you know, you didn't have to do this, or I didn't have to do this. I could have gone up, and because my answer choices were also A, B, C, D, E, F as well, I could have chosen to do that. But in this case, I just wanted to have the kids look at the words again each time they had to make a decision. So I went ahead and listed them. I can choose to shuffle it, but I don't want to because I feel like if I did that in my case, because I already have letter choices beside them, I didn't want to mix them up too much. So I'm going to keep it as it is. I could change the number of points if I wanted to, decrease it back down to 1 or increase it, whatever I choose to do. Then I simply click Save Changes. Now it says to auto score this item, you will need to mark one of the correct choices as the correct one. Click on the circle to the left of a choice to mark it as correct. So it will not let you put this option in or this type of drop down in unless you choose the right answer. So let's go through that and make sure that happens. I choose my correct answer, click Save Changes, and now that one is set and ready to go. Let's take a look on the student end and see what that looks like. I go to Preview, I'm going to scroll down. This is what the kids are going to see. When they click on it, options are available. They choose which one they want, and it fits in place. Just click out and go back. Again, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I don't want to make my life harder. I want to make it easier. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's selected. I'm going to select Control D. I'm going to duplicate. But this time, remember, you have to go in and change your answer for the next one. Click Save Changes, position it where I want it, and I just keep going down the list. Hope that makes sense. On this particular test I do have an essay option. 2 things. Now, number 1, if you don't want to tackle online subjective grading, you don't have to do this. You could actually block it out with the color block. What you could do is go ahead and click Insert again. And in this case, we want to choose Short Answer. So when I click on this one, stretch it out so it fits the area, click off of it, and it's ready to go. Finally, you have your worksheet done and you are ready to push out your digital worksheet. Let's take a look at how that's going to work. Inside of TeacherMade, you want to go over to the 3 dots where you see Actions, and then you can preview your worksheet, look at the content or the properties again. You can make a copy of it if you wanted to for different home rooms, however you choose to do it. And then of course, and I do want to stress to you that if you have multiple home rooms, it might be a good idea that you make a copy for each home room. The reason I stress that is that because kids are not in their own individual classrooms inside a teacher made, all the answers are going to come in as one lump sum of students, meaning all of them come in at once, unless you make individual copies. And for example, you'd say Robert's homeroom on one, Teet's homeroom on another, however that would work for you to keep them all separate, and then you assign them as such. So we have our worksheet ready to go. We want to go into assign, choose teacher made. You can also choose to edit the assignment name if you'd like to. This is where you could actually name it like Robert's homeroom, whatever you choose to do. Click next. And again, you want to use using a name or ID because we do not have an account. You can choose a custom prompt if you want to, but we'll go ahead and just use a name or ID. Inside of these settings, you can choose to disable the submit button. And you can do this in case kids sometimes get click happy and they're like, click, 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 submit. Like, oh no, Miss Roberts, I didn't mean to do that. Well, this button is there to help. So you can disable it. That way it kind of slows kids down a little bit in case they make a mistake before they're actually ready to turn it in. So you can choose to do that. You can toggle it off at any time you'd like to. So now at the next step, student can check answers before their submission. So if you'd like students to have an opportunity to kind of pre-check their answers before they submit, you can choose to do this multiple times if you want to, but again, it's defaulted as a no. Also in display score, this setting applies to both you and your students' views. You can change the setting at any time, even after the assignment has been turned in. So you can do it by points earned out of possible, all the way down to percent. After the submission, in this case, the students' scores are shown to their work from an auto-scored item. So if you have submissions and you have some hand scoring you have to do, they'll see the auto-graded stuff first, but you'll have to go in and hand grade and then return the work individually. And finally, once you actually do click the return button and you return the work back to them because they had some hand scoring items they had to do, then in that case, when the work is returned to the student, the assignment will always be visible to that student, okay? Now, if you're concerned about kids sharing, okay, sharing like, hey, this is what I got, this is what you got, and this is the answer to this one and that one, we would suggest that you don't return any work until the assignment has been completed by all students in the class. So I would wait to return work because now you can set it so it shows just the total score and not the correct answers if you want to. So if you want to keep those hidden, because sometimes kids get tempted and they want to save things. They want to share things with other students. Then you can also choose to offer tools for the kids. They can have text boxes, drawing, insert a link. They can do math on there. You could also modify the others as well. So now we're ready. We click save. Okay, now our assignment is pretty much live. I can choose to preview it. If I want to edit the answer key because I might have made a mistake later on, I can do that. I can copy this link. I can place it inside of Teams or whatever platform I'd like for them to have.
Once posted, the answers should appear in the center. That's it. You're finished. Great job.